What are you gonna do? How bad do you want it? There's two options. To continue forward, pushing upward. And if you do, that dream is giving birth. And forever you will live in the reality of it. If you stop, quit, throw in the towel, I promise you there's no distance you can travel far enough to find that dream again. For it is dead. And in its death, it's replaced by regret.
Because you're sad, now you're gonna make a bunch of bad decisions because you're sad? No, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. You're sad, okay. You get emotional sometimes, okay. Got it. Now, get control of your emotions and carry on with your life.
Work like they're trying to take it from you, because they are. If you're not working like someone is trying to take everything you've worked for, someone eventually will. They don't care that you're tired. They don't care how you feel. They don't care about your excuses. They don't care about your emotions. Complacency kills.
You do not need them to believe in you. You do not need your friends to tell you you're great. All you have to do is go become great, and they will recognize you.
See, we all have some stuff that we've been given. And I don't think that it's optional for us to sit on what we have. See, if you're sitting on what you have, what you've been given, I think everybody's been given something to bring to the planet. That only you can do that. Only you can perform that. Only you can initiate that activity. And if you don't do that, if you're not filling in your life with your life work or your mission, then there are gaps in your life.
You forgot who the f you are, bro. You got so caught up in other people's opinions and the way the world looks at you that you forgot what got you here in the first place. Forget everybody else, bro. Forget the crowd, forget the clubs, forget whatever it is. You have nobody to prove anything to except yourself.
In my philosophy, I'm a warrior and everything should be perfect. Everything what I'm doing, I have to do it well, or I shouldn't do it at all.
Sometimes a man who's not at peace is a man who was born to not fit in, but he's trying to shoehorn himself into a box or into a hole that he was never meant to fit in. And that might be you. Some of you are meant for the journey, not for the arrival. Embrace the journey and shun the box. And be one of those men who finds things, who figures things out, who sees things that others are not able to see.
And what we do when we're not living out our true identity, we begin to fill the gaps. We fill the holes with garbage.
If you give up a little bit today, like you can't get it back. Like if you skip a workout today, there's no possible way to get that back. When you let something go, it's gone. And Rome wasn't built in a day, but Rome didn't fall apart on a day either. It didn't fall apart because of one thing. It falls apart just a little bit at a time. And so you can't submit. You can't submit.
Everything you do holds value. There are no shortcuts. You went to every corner, made a left turn or a right turn, and then you went down the next path. Ensured everything in the opportunity was presented, and you got the most out of each situation you could. If you come up short, you know it's not from your lack of effort. You got beat honestly, and that's fine.
You know, we all have one voice, and that one voice is very powerful that says, hey, you've earned this, you deserve this, take time off, all that stuff. Start developing the other voice that fights that voice. When it's not a designated day off, I don't care if it's running, swimming, biking, studying. If it's not a day off, don't take a day off.
What you do frequently becomes your frequency. So if you want to know your life, look at your habits. That's what you do frequently, right? And they add up to a rhythm. That rhythm becomes a pattern. That pattern becomes your character. That character becomes your life. You're not going to be able to break out of it until you change something about who you are. So there's so many people that's operating from a paradigm of fear. They got too much fear. Courage is where it starts. Courage is where the shift starts. because the fear gonna be there. But daily courage is how you activate yourself even when the fear comes. The fear of success and the fear of failure, it paralyzes people. It minimizes your vision. It stops your movement. It makes you think small as hell. It's your fear that's stopping you. Insecurity, you don't think you're good enough. You don't think that's for you, right? So when you talk about frequencies, the shift comes in saying that, you know, you have to be what you want to achieve already.
Wouldn't you want to know what would happen if you spent just 1 year giving it your absolute all? You gave your diet your absolute all. You gave your fitness regimen your absolute all. You gave your work your absolute all. How drastically would your life change in just 1 year? 1 year of uninterrupted focus.
The whole journey of a process of something, of trying to become a master at something, is way more fun when you're uncovering the knowledge along the way, rather than just being given it at the start. And I think it's a fool's approach to want to have all the answers at the beginning, or even to think you have all of them. And I still am far from having all the answers. Maybe there'd be a way where I would start with no knowledge again and go on a different path and end up better or worse. I never know, but I would still rather go along the journey without the knowledge to begin with.
The process it takes to be number one and stay at number one, you have no idea. Everybody wants to sit in your seat until they have to sit in your seat. Very few people understand what winning and success does to an individual's mental health. Everybody thinks the more you win, the more successful you are. It just makes everything so much easier. And they don't understand the pressures that these individuals put on themselves to continue to perform at the highest level.
The more time you spend alone, you're gonna figure out, okay, what your purpose is. And I say that because of this. You start seeking in those moments of not having any outside distractions. What happens is things become clear. Clarity sets in. And you're able to make decisions not based on what you saw that day or what you heard that day or what that person may have said to you. You're able to make decisions based on how you feel internally.
Inside we grow. We start from here and it comes out. And from within, we're not worried about the sun, the clouds, the fucking people in the parking lots. We're worried about our mission at hand.
Mortality, I think, is something we don't think about enough. The certainty. You know, we're in this brief shaft of light between two oceans of darkness. But everyone always thinks about the tail end, right? And thinks about what happens after you die. Mark Twain had this great quote. You know, he said, I wasn't alive for billions of years before my birth, and it didn't inconvenience me in the least. But this brief shaft of light is kind of, it's magnificent, isn't it?
Fear is not real. The only place that fear can exist is in our thoughts of the future. It is a product of our imagination, causing us to fear things that do not at present and may not ever exist. Danger is very real, but fear is a choice.
Life is the most brutal endurance sport of all time. And that's what we have to love about it. We have to flip it on its head and love the fact that life continues to attack us. There are no fucking timeouts. We have to know that when we die with some meaning and some purpose in this world.
I don't want to live at the level of feelings. You settle too low. You settle for what you see. You settle for what people say. You settle for old templates. You settle for old scripts. You settle for emotions.
You can't have a victory without a battle. God is raising you up right now. He's doing it through a process. The level you will settle on is the level that you see yourself.
because what the enemy sent to stop you is not going to have its intended purpose. When that snake bites, don't panic, don't fall apart, just shake it off and keep moving forward. Keep thanking God that He's fighting your battles. Keep thanking Him that what was meant for harm, He's turning to your advantage.
If you don't stand up and decide to live and survive and move forward and find a way into the next season of your life, you will pass along the same spirit that has tormented you. And that's not just if you're on the edge, that's anybody who feels like quitting. But quitting the thing that God has called you to, it's not small. Don't die outside of your destiny.
What is successful and what is failure, the differential, are so small. We're talking about seconds. We're talking about, reps. We're talking about the finest echelon of measurement that will make or break someone's life to be successful at that moment. And once that moment's successful, that gives a birth of a lifestyle that's unbeatable, second to none. But in order to have that first success, you must ensure yourself that you're giving it all you can today.
It's time to stay focused. It's time to decide clubs, partying, trying to fit in and socialize, rub elbows with everybody so people can stop calling you weird. Why are you so antisocial? Because I'm trying to get it. Why are you out there practicing in the hot sun when ain't nobody else out there? Because I'm trying to get it. The more weird you are is a reflection of how committed you are to focusing on your molding and shaping and developing your ideas and your craft so that when it's time for you to make your rounds, you gon' fly.
Between the acting of a dreadful thing, between the moment when you are waiting to do something that you don't want to do, and the first motion and the moment when you initiate the action, all the interim is like a phantasma or a hideous dream.
Life ain't about medals, it ain't about certificates, it ain't about houses, money, cars, fame, all that shit. It's about scars. So when you get judged, when everything is said and done with, you won't get judged on your medals. You get judged on your scars. Those scars show your willingness to get to the side. They show your failures. They show your willingness to start from scratch. They show what you're willing to do to go the distance, to see what you're capable of. So make sure in life, don't be afraid to get scars. Stay hard.
Everyone has their disabilities, let's say, and I know that some people are far more terribly affected than other people. I'm perfectly aware of that. But the question is, what do you do about that? And what you do is you set yourself up on your damn crutches and you struggle up the bloody hill. That's what you do. And you struggle up the hill towards the kingdom of God. That's what you do. Because the alternative is to descend into the abyss. That's the alternative. And then so to say, well, do you believe? It's like, I believe that you should struggle uphill towards the city of God on your crutches. That's what you should do. That's the opposite of the descent into the abyss.
So the battle, the struggle, the hesitation takes place in that moment. That moment when we must step into the unknown. That moment filled with fear and horror. And that fear is what causes hesitation, and hesitation causes defeat. Hesitation is the enemy. Hesitation allows the moment to pass, the opportunity to be lost, the enemy to get the upper hand. Hesitation turns into cowardice. It stops us from moving forward, from taking initiative, from executing what we know we must. Hesitation defeats us, so we must defeat it.
And it's possible that I can bring my greatness out here in the universe. That I can do what I want to do. It's possible. I can bounce back from adversity and reinvent my life. It's possible. Regardless of where I am, the things can get better for me.
Get your feet on the ground, step forward. Do not hesitate, do not wait. Go forward and win.
A person who thinks all the time has nothing to think about except thoughts. So he loses touch with reality and lives in a world of illusions. We are so tied up in our minds that we've lost our senses. Time to wake up. What is reality? It isn't material, that's just an idea. Reality is this.
Whoever it is that you want to be, no matter how many times you may have failed at attempting to become that person leading up to this point, you can still become that person. You're going to decide who that is, you're going to hold that ideal in your mind, and you're going to force yourself to act in accordance. You are going to tell people what you're up to. And if you really have some balls, you're gonna tell people that want you to fail. Because that, believe it or not, that's who's gonna come to your rescue in your darkest hours of wanting to give up. It's gonna be remembering that out there is someone who's laughing at you, who wants you to fail, that's talking behind your back about how you're never going to achieve it, and then imagine how rad it will be when you actually do achieve it.
We can't work out without purpose. We need to get into our dress for the wedding. Summertime's coming, so we want to look all good. The biggest purpose in life isn't all it. It's how you respect yourself, how you look at yourself. That's an everyday journey. So every day you should be getting after it. We look at determination, self-discipline. We look at hard work. All these terms is almost like we dread them. So don't look at them as dread and punishment. Look at those words as a lifestyle. Stay hard.
You can set yourself a goal that you can attain, and there's not going to be much glory in it to begin with. Because if you're not in very good shape, the goal that you could attain tomorrow isn't very glorious. But it's a hell of a lot better than nothing, and it beats the hell out of bitterness, and it's way better than blaming someone else. It's way less dangerous. And you could do it. It's one step on a very long journey. And so it starts to compound on you. So a small step today puts you in a position to take a slightly bigger step the next day. And then that puts you in a position to take a slightly bigger step the next day. And you do that for 2 or 3 years, man, you're starting to stride.
Be kind to yourself. You are actually doing the best you can. Don't beat yourself up. Don't drive yourself crazy. You are actually doing the best you can.
There is the darkness and the light, my friends, and you have to play in both.
Just because you've gone through it doesn't mean that you are it. Some of you right now, you're listening to me and someone is telling you that you should just give into that temptation, that you should just give into that problem, that there's no way that you're ever gonna overcome it, that this has been 10 years, or 12 years, or 15 years, or 20 years, or your entire life. But just because it's been your entire life up until this point, doesn't mean that it has to be the rest of your life going forward.
that the greatest rewards come not from instant gratification, but from sustained effort and from hard work. This is a lesson that's especially true today in a culture that prizes flash over substance, that tells us that the goal in life is to be entertained, that says you can be famous just for being famous. But that's not going to lead to lasting, sustained achievement.
I cannot guarantee the success. I cannot guarantee ever that anyone is ever going to be successful. But I can guarantee that you're going to struggle. Guarantee. 100%. Nobody avoids it. That's it. Everybody that ever tries to do anything, and even most of the people that don't try to do anything, are going to struggle profoundly with moving forward. It's just hard like that. And so if you know that the struggle is guaranteed, then you can't allow yourself to waste time to be tormented by the fact that you're not where you want to be. Make sure you're having fun in the struggle. Figuring out how to struggle well, that's the answer.
Winning is not about the trophy and the accolades. It's about the grind. It's about the obstacles. It's about the challenges. It's about the pain that you endure along the way for that 30 seconds of being able to either stand on the platform, be acknowledged by individuals that are close to you, but when that happens, your mind has to immediately shift back because now you felt and tasted something that you can only get through winning. Are you willing to do it again?
We're all looking for something. We're all looking for hope. Hope you can't just have just because you were born with hope. No, we're born with pain. And in our life, my parents always taught me that we have a choice. Either to be angry for what we don't have, or be thankful for what we do have.
But a lot of us have scars in our brains about lives, bad childhoods, bad adulthood, whatever going through. Those scars in your brain, we don't talk about, we hide. Scarring is proof that our past is real. But the one thing we do is we allow it to control our lives. And we get off the log. Well, it's time to get back on the log and not have those scars define the rest of your life. Sometimes you gotta fight pain with pain.
It's not the critic who counts. Not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes up short and short, time and time again, because there's no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deed, who knows great enthusiasm, great devotion, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least he fails while daring to be great, so that his place should never be with the cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat.
There's so many times in life you don't want to be doing what you're doing. You can't just quit. Remember this, it's in the hobby, it's in the joke, it's a lifestyle.
Engage. engage. Weakness is strong, I must be stronger. I must crush it into submission through force of will. So I savage the body. I push and pull and fight against gravity. I fight against fatigue and soreness and the weakness that says, give in. I will not give in. I will fight.
You gotta rise up. You gotta make your dreams a reality and live a damn masterpiece. You know this. Make a decision. What's the decision? What's the thing you came here for? Now we're at the moment. The clock is ticking. Life can be long. You bury your dreams, you quit this, life gets long. It's only a thought if you don't take an action. The difference between a thought and a decision is an action. So we know, and you just decided, and you know what it is. You know what it is. A decision you've made, something you do that you follow up with the action to make it real.
What we don't do is we don't go inside. So literally turn yourself inside out. Read the book that's in, like we're writing a book every day of our lives, but we never read that book. So what I would challenge this young man or young woman to do is you have to look inside of yourself to see what you really want. What are you passionate about? So when I speak from passion, I speak from experience, I speak from suffering. That the only way I believe, this is my experience in life, the only way you're ever going to get to the other side of this journey is you have got to suffer to grow. To grow, you must suffer.
Commitment is staying true to what you said you would do long after the mood that you set it in has left. Commitment is staying true to what you said you would do long after the mood that you set it in has left. Like I know when the mood is right, we hype, we talking, we high-fiving, we talking about what we gonna do, and then we get in that certain moment of adversity, that certain moment of truth, and it tests our character. And the thing I love about adversity introduces you into who you really are as a person.
But you can only do that through the struggle of life. And most people avoid the struggle. Most people go through life avoiding pain. And when you go through life like that, something in you dies. Something in you that you never activate is lying dormant in there, that you never get a chance to call on because you have not challenged yourself. Somebody said, the land of familiarity belongs to the dead.
But sometimes in day-to-day life, you can lose track of the long-term goal. It fades from your vision. It slips from your mind. Wrong. I want that long-term goal to be so embedded in my mind that I never lose sight of it. Ever. And the little tasks and projects and short-term goals that you tackle need to lead towards strategic victory, winning the long war.
When you get tired, when you get fatigued, when you get down, when you're in a slump, it's your habits, rituals, routines, and your standards that carry you through. And if you don't have good habits, you don't have good rituals, you don't have good routines, always in your life you will fall down in bad times, in slumps and fatigue and in stress.
I'm telling you that, look, you can't activate life. You can't begin to experience life in the way you want to experience. You can't have it. You can't be it. You can't do it until you activate it. Until just it's all in there. All your gifts, all your talents, everything you need to do to be what you've been called to do, what you've been birthed to do. You can't do until you activate it, until you recognize you matter. Everything about you is great, but the problem is you have consciously chosen to be average.
So what you say to yourself is important. There's no fucking coach, there's no trainer to keep you going, it's only you. The whole thing is this, don't say a word. Stay uncommon amongst uncommon people. You're never done. Don't stop when you're tired. Stop when you're done. Stay hard.
Once you begin to discover who you are, then you really realize how you have been given authority and dominion over everything on the face of the earth, including all the dimensions of your life.
In other words, when the outcome changes and it's not where we want it to be and it doesn't turn out the way we want it to turn out, do we still value the thing that we once said we value? Is our character still intact? Right? Because we all know it. Character is not something we inherit. Character is something we got to wake up every single day. We got to fight and we got to build it. In the midst of opposition, in the midst of challenges, in the midst of uncertainty.
Every day, do something that moves you toward that goal, that keeps that goal alive and in sight and in focus. However small or insignificant that step might seem, take it. Do it. Make it happen. Because that goal isn't going to achieve itself. It is all on you.
Every man has two lives, and the second starts when he realizes he has just one. It's like a happy person wants 10,000 things. A sick person just wants one thing. It's your unlimited desires that are clouding your peace, your happiness. Every desire you have is an axis where you will suffer. So just don't focus on more than one desire at a time. The universe is rigged in such a way that if you just want one thing and you focus on that, you'll get it. But everything else, you gotta let go.
Life and ambition and the need to know what we're doing and to always have a clear delineated path and to always be 100% certain on what we're doing and why we're doing it is not true, and that's not necessary at all. What's important is that you're present with what you got right now, what you're doing right now, and you do it for the sake of doing it in this moment, and you don't think about the future. Because there is no future and you don't know how things are going to unfold.
Ladies and gentlemen, go into action with your dream. And don't avoid where the fights are. Get in the midst of the fight. Get knocked down so you can learn how to fight, so you can hold your position. See, most people don't get out in the arena of life because they don't want to fight. Most people don't get out there because they don't want to get knocked down. They don't want to be dropped to their knees. But see, you're going to be dropped whether you're on the field or whether or not you're sitting on the sideline.
What you are looking for, what you need, is self-discipline. Self-discipline, as the very name implies, comes from the self, you. It comes when you make a decision to be disciplined. When you make a decision to be better. When you make a decision to do more and be more.
It's like discipline yourself in one dimension. See what happens. Well, that's exciting. The best we have might not always work, but it's still the best we have. And the fact that it might not work doesn't mean we should throw it away. It's still the best we have. I mean, everyone dies, and so we fail in some sense. The fact that a symphony ends doesn't mean that it wasn't worth listening to.
No one's coming back to help me. So it starts with that person in that mirror. You have to realize you are on your own now. On earth, it's a very lonely journey. And it starts with the accountability mirror, looking at saying, hey, my dad who beat the hell out of me is not coming back. All these things are coming back. I have to face myself. And you have to own all those things that people may have done to you. Now it's yours. You gotta own it. And it's yours now to fix the problems that people did to you. It makes no sense. It's not fair. I get it. But if you live in that woe is me mentality of guess what? My dad did this to me. My mom did this to me.
People who bullied did this to me. You're gonna always live right there.
Motivation is very ungrounded, right? It's all up here. Whoa, I feel good. But when it comes time to bring it into practice, you cannot rely on it. Motivation is just a feeling. Grounded action is what gets things done. When you have built a habit, it's ingrained in your nervous system in such a way that the brain doesn't even have to consider whether or not it'll get done. It just gets done. Commit once. You don't need to commit more than once. You commit once to the thing that you're going to do, and then you do it every single day. It's not the grand visions, it's the tiny actions that move towards a worthy ideal.
What makes it hard is your lack of belief that it can happen for you. The fact of it is, though, it's very doable. See, but you got to change, though. If you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting.
Nobody's journey is seamless or smooth. We all stumble, we all have setbacks. If things go wrong, you hit a dead end, as you will. It's just life's way of saying, time to change course. Every failure, every crisis, every difficult time, I say, what is this here to teach me? And what I found is that difficulties come when you don't pay attention to life's whisper, because life always whispers to you first. And if you ignore the whisper, sooner or later you'll get a scream. Whatever you resist persists, but if you ask the right question, not why is this happening, but what is this here to teach me? What is this here to teach me? It puts you in the place and space to get the lesson you need.
So if you're at a place in your life and you ain't happy with it, you have to change some things.
There is nothing that's ever good enough. The only thing that's enough is at the end of the day, the nth hour, the final hour, whatever you're going for, that your hand is raised victoriously. That's when you know it's enough. And it will never go your way, guys, if you're saying today is good enough. If you never say good enough today, I promise you tomorrow will always be enough. Whenever good enough isn't enough, you can bet tomorrow you'll have enough. The way it is for you is blood, sweat, and tears today to create a foundation of strength for tomorrow. Those days combined into whatever dream you want to be a reality.
There's a quote from Viktor Frankl that says, when a man can't find a deep sense of meaning, they distract themselves with pleasure.
What is your definition of all in? Everyone likes to talk about early mornings, late nights, hard work. That's not all in. Everybody in this room is a hard worker. Everybody in this room is talented. Talent is a gift, it's not a promise. Everybody in here is putting in long hours. It's the other things that you do beyond all in.
If you want your day to feel easy, do the most difficult thing that you least want to do first.
If you just do the things you do not want to do, you will have everything you have ever wanted.
I need you to go to the next level. I need you to elevate. I need you to dominate. I need you to win. I need you to be that woman or be that man. I need you to be him. I need you to be her. I need you to be that. And you know why you do that? Because you got to believe.
If you do not have the ability to resist, to manage, to overcome doubts, to overcome worries, to overcome concerns, in whatever circumstance that prevents you from succeeding, this is not the year to talk about your problems. This is the year to solve your problems.
Decide who you want to become.
You know, you can't drift into a new life. You can't back into it. You need to design your new life. Envision a version of yourself that you respect, that you really want to become, and be specific. Build a life that a man or a woman would really want to live.
You have to make a decision with such firm intention that the amplitude of that decision carries a level of energy that's greater than the hardwired programs in your brain and the emotional addictions in your body. And your body has to respond to a new mind. So then you make a choice, and that choice becomes an experience that you never forget, and the hair on the back of your neck stands up. Your body is responding to a new mind, but you can't do it being your normal self. It requires a level of energy that is the epiphenomenon of matter. And when you change your energy, you change your life.
I think that there are many ways how you can, let's say, motivate yourself to walk this path. So why would I face the dark side of myself knowing already that it's gonna be painful? Why would I do that?
You have to accept what has happened. You need to accept reality. It's one thing to accept the fact life isn't fair, this is cruel, I don't deserve this. It's a whole nother ballgame to accept that this is what has happened and it's not changing.
Same as like every time you face a challenge that was really, really difficult for you, but you still pushed it through somehow. You still were patient and persevered and were consistent and still tried. And this type of challenge for me was a way bigger victory than anything that was easily attained.
That means everything you got inside of you, everything that you're equipped with, that you got what it takes to make it through the battle, through the storm, to the next level. Let me tell you what, faith and worry don't get along. They don't coincide. They ain't dogs, they ain't homies, they ain't brothers, they ain't friends. They can't cohabitate. You got to believe. That means you got to have faith.
We must suffer. We must suffer. And you can run from it all you want.
Once you come face to face with who you are, you have a starting point.
The longer you hold on to this wish, the longer you prolong your own suffering. I mean, most of human suffering, our internal pain, our anguish, it comes from the desire to have things be different than how they are. You know, there's one quote I love from the poet Rumi. Try not to resist the changes that come your way. Instead, let life live through you.
So literally saying nothing sustainable and worthwhile in this lifetime comes from something that's easily attained. Facing yourself. Face your shadow. Face the dark side. Look at your demons.
Your lack of commitment is almost an insult to the people who believe in you. And that's what I'm trying to tell myself. I said, there's people who believe in me, so this is what I'm telling myself right now, today. There's people that believe in me, and me having this half commitment, it's not who the fuck I am. It's not what my people, it's not what the people who believe in me deserve. And I want to give back to the people who believe in me. And
everything's in arm's reach. You just have to work to get there. There is no easy road to what you want. It's a long road. Everybody that wants to do something doesn't understand the steps that you have to take to get there. It's not just in entertainment, it's in all aspects of life, man. And that's what I learned at a young age. No matter what, you can't escape work. You can't.
To truly change is to think greater than your environment. And every great person in history knew this. Whether it was William Wallace or Mahatma Gandhi or Martin Luther King or Queen Elizabeth I or Joan of Arc, they all had a vision. They all had an idea. Couldn't see it, couldn't smell it, couldn't taste it, couldn't feel it, but it was alive in their mind. It was so alive in their mind that they began to live as if that reality was actually happening now. So can you believe in a future that you can't see or experience with your senses yet? but you've thought about enough times in your mind that your brain is literally changed to look like the event has already happened?
Take all of the things that you got to do in a particular day and rank order them from the things that you want to do the least to the things that you want to do the most. And I guarantee one of the big reasons why you never get anything done is because you do the opposite. You start your day off doing all the things that you want to do, and then you dread the rest of the day, and chances are you probably just end up skipping it. But if you say, hey, let me start my day off by doing all these things that I don't want to do, by the time you're done with it, you're only left with all the things that you're looking forward to. So now you're proud of yourself because you did something difficult that was uncomfortable that you didn't want to do. And now you're excited because you get to enjoy the rest of your day. And they say you can't have your cake and eat it too.
How does suffering, how does hardship, how does pain give me purpose? The process of struggle, and the one who bears it is a process of development, of strengthening, of learning, of readjusting, but not just to anything, my friend. You are moving towards taking steps closer to embodying what you truly are.
You know what's crazy? You know you could be the one if you really wanted to, right? You know that, right? But see, you keep playing the what-if game. What if it don't work out this? What if it don't work out that? What if it do work out? Then what? You gonna be happy, right? You can't say you want to win, but then you scared to lose. What kind of sense does that make? If you put your head down and lock in on the vision, how could you not win? Only thing that's gonna cause you to lose is your mentality. But that's between you and you, though.
The person you can control. People are not who you want them to be. Kill your idols. Sure, there are things we can learn from people, but people aren't going to be what you think they are, what they should be. Because you can't control other people. You can't make them what you want them to be. You can't make them who you want them to be. The only person you can control is you. So focus on making yourself who you want to be.
You guys need to understand what you don't have to do. All right? You don't have to work hard, you don't have to eat right, you don't have to sleep right. You don't have to do more than what's required of you. You don't have to be a good teammate. You don't have to be a good leader. You don't have to do anything that you don't want to do. But you also don't have to win. You don't have to be a success in life. So the greatest things in life take sacrifice and discipline. And that's why so few people achieve great things. Because they don't want to sacrifice, they don't want to discipline for something greater. So you see all these people that have great things in life that you look up to, it's because they were sacrificed and disciplined long before you ever knew them. That's the truth. So don't get mad later when you created your whole storm and then it starts raining on you.
Surround yourself with dreamers and doers, the believers and thinkers. But most of all, surround yourself with those who see the greatness within people when they don't see it in themselves.
Nothing in life is promised except death. If you have the opportunity to play this game of life, you need to appreciate every moment. A lot of people don't appreciate their moment until it's past.
Faster, stronger, smarter, more humble, less ego. Discipline your body. Free your mind. Get up early and go. Get after it, and you will become the person you want to be. And you become that person through one small decision at a time.
If the game or break go against you, don't let up, put on more steam. If the game or break goes against you, don't let up, put on more steam. In life, with your goals, your dreams, your aspirations, the things that you seek to do,
the things that you aspire to do, the things that you want to accomplish. Never forget, first and foremost, how brilliant you are. Never forget the people that played a part in you getting in this position. Never forget what you're made out of. But on the road to success, on the road to accomplishment, on the road to evolving and development, if the game of break goes against you in life, the only favor I ask of you, because in life, people don't burn out, people don't quit, and people don't underachieve because of what they do. People burn out, people quit, and people underachieve because life makes them forget why they do it. And so the only favor I ask of you, if the game or break of life go against you, don't let up. Put on more steam.
When you are struggling and you start thinking about giving up, I want you to remember, and that is the power of hope. The belief that something better is always possible if you're willing to work for it and fight for it. It is our fundamental belief in the power of hope that has allowed us to rise above the voices of doubt and division, of anger and fear that we have faced in our own lives. Our hope that if we work hard enough and believe in ourselves, then we can be whatever we dream, regardless of the limitations that others may place on us. The hope that when people see us for who we truly are, maybe, just maybe, they too will be inspired to rise to their best possible selves.
Your life is before you. You fill these pages with your hopes, with your passion, with your dreams. You write. You write the greatest story ever told.
You cannot run your demons. They'll always find you. Only way to beat them is look at them eye to eye and make them your mindset's the only thing that gets you through hard times.
When you make the decision to do what you want to do with your life, just know this: because the family and the friends in your life do not share your vision, but know this: only those that can see the invisible can do the impossible.
When it all boils down to what it is, mano a mano. And if you ain't got more heart than me, if you ain't been working harder than me, if you ain't sacrificed more than me, I'm gonna destroy you. And I'm not retreating. I'm not running. I don't care what they say on paper. We live by this and we die by this. We don't retreat. We don't run. Every man must search his own soul. You don't judge a person by where they stand in times of comfort and convenience. You judge them by where they stand in times of challenge and controversy. And if you ain't work, like when you work for something, it gives you a different type of attachment to it. The harder you work, the harder it is to surrender. That's why cats can give up so easy. They ain't got nothing invested. Like when a cat been sacrificed for something, well, you gonna have a cold day in hell before you take it from them.
So tonight, the question that I ask you is what things in your life are you going to give a funeral to? What things in your life have to die? What things in your life have been keeping you from seeing the greatest version of yourself, have been keeping you from knowing your worth, have been keeping you from seeing how special you are? Have been keeping you to live in depression, have been keeping you to live in pain. What things are you allowing to live in your life that need to be dead? Because the truth of the matter is, and I'm not trying to put fear in your heart, but I'm putting reality on your mind. The truth of the matter is, we're all gonna die. But the truth of that is, not all of us are gonna live.
It might be April where you are, and you're expecting nice weather, but it's 20 degrees. So, you might be somewhere where it's too hot. So, you might have sore legs, sore back, sore shoulder. So, the struggle is real. It never gets any easier. You gotta get harder. No one cares what you did yesterday. It only matters what you're doing today. I'm a cheerleader for those who want to be better, not for those who want to stay the same.
We're so stuck in this comfort zone, and the comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing ever grows there. We're so stuck where it's convenient. We're so stuck in this ritual where it feels good, and so when God tries to shake us up a little bit, the problem always happens before the miracle. The lessons always come before the blessings.
How bad do you want your goal right now? I think there's a lot of people in the world today, because it's a really niche thing to talk about, I want this is my outcome, this is my goal. Like, how bad do you want? Do you want it as bad as breathing? Do you want it as bad as anything you ever wanted in your life? And if you calibrate it at the highest enough levels, what I found is the people that are the hungriest, they find a way.
You choose to stay comfort. You choose comfort. You choose to stay comfortable. You choose to stay in a place that you know your life shouldn't be at anymore. Some of us, we've been living in the same place for the last decade, for the last 15 years, for the last 5 years. And we've been keeping ourselves in a place that has done no good for our life. Some of us need to give that funeral to the environments in our life. As you know, what you surround your life around is what you will become.
And when you go through something, you're going to learn some lessons, but it's not always easy to extract lessons from a bad situation.
To me, every day is a beginning, a new day, a new week, a new shot at life. An opportunity to come out of the gate like a man possessed and attack the day without mercy. Today, I'm taking scalps. I'm putting the pressure on. I'm the aggressor. I'm on the attack. And of course, I will get tired. I will get beat up. I'll get knocked down and drained, and I will have some bad days. But I will not stop.
When you know why you want something, when it's desperation, the power of being desperate is something that most people avoid. They think desperation is a weakness. And I'm here to tell you, desperation is one of the most powerful emotions you could possibly possess, because when you're desperate, you find reserves and reservoirs of ideas, talents, and a strength that you don't know you have when you find yourself in a desperate situation. So the number one thing we need more than anything to win is hunger, which comes from a state of desperation. Yet we're constantly trying to comfort ourselves in the real world to avoid the state of being desperate.
And so I love the process. I love it. I love working for what I want. I love the sacrifice. I love the dedication. I love the commitment. I love that. Everybody wants the prize. Nobody wants the process. Everybody wants to be a diamond. Nobody is willing to get cut. Everybody wants to go to heaven. Nobody wants to die.
And I'm saying to you, whatever you gotta do it, because if you don't, life is gonna whoop you until you surrender. So if it's hard, then do it hard.
These are not tears of sorrow. These are tears of joy, because the thing I understand, the only thing I need you to do is deal with it in the right way, and watch what God not only does in your life, watch what God does in everybody's life that's connected to you. And the thing about every storm has an expiration date.
So when I don't see the point and I feel like my life is being dismantled, could it be that God's preparation comes packaged as pain? And maybe if you could see it that way, it wouldn't take the pain away, but it would give the pain a purpose. If you could see what you've been calling a failure really wasn't a failure, It was a foundation.
You're 25, you can be an idiot. It's no problem. Okay, well now you're the same person at 30. It's like people aren't so thrilled about you at that point. It's like, what the hell have you been doing for the last 10 years? Well, I'm just as clueless as I was when I was 22. It's, yeah, but you're not 22. You're an old infant, right? And that's an ugly thing, an old infant. So part of the reason you choose your damn sacrifice, because the sacrifice is inevitable, but at least you get to choose it. Part of the proper path of development in the last half of life was to rediscover the child that you left behind as you were apprenticing. And so then you get to be something and regain that potential at the same time.
Make a decision. Because if you don't decide, well, you know, life decides for you. Indecision is still a decision.
Anything can be learned. I can start playing golf like Tiger Woods. The only thing that separates me to Tiger Woods is desire and repetition.
Look me in the eye. It's okay if you're scared. So am I. But we're scared for different reasons. I'm scared of what I won't become. And you're scared of what I could become.
Man, I've trained 99% of my life alone. No one pat me on the back. I did all of the work alone.
Over and over and over. So when you bugger off to the pub, or you sit and watch your favorite TV program, I study charts. I go over the trading day. Just like Tiger Woods, he created a new wave of sincerity about golf. When everyone else hit the clubhouse, he went and worked out. And there's no shortcuts. You can't buy a book, you can't attend a course, you can't listen to anyone. You see, you can't be taught anything. I cannot teach you anything. You have to decide to teach yourself. I can guide you, but ultimately, you, in any endeavor in life, you have to want it yourself. And that's what separates the 99% with the 1%, the ones that truly dream and dare and go for their goals and their vision.
I won't let myself end where I started. I won't let myself finish where I began. I know what is within me, even if you can't see it yet. Look me in the eyes. I have something more important than courage. I have patience. I will become what I know I am.
We don't rise to the standards we have when others are watching. We fall to the standards we have when no one is watching. The only work that really matters is the work that no one sees. It shows you who you really are rather than who you say you are.
I ran today, I went to the gym today, I did this and this today, I studied today. I have about 8 hours off. And those 8 hours are glorious to me. And every day you go back out and you start earning that. And every day you wake up, it sucks. And when it's over, you feel better. It sucks, you feel better. And as you get going, as every step you take in that journey, as you're like, but every step I take, I'm like, all right, man, you're beating the demon again.
2 keywords: delayed gratification. I want to be huge. I want to be fucking big. I want to look diced. Or at any fucking endeavor at all. You got to be kind of content with doing the exact same thing, basically, day after day after day, and making reasonable progress. The more impatient somebody is, this isn't rocket science, the less likely it is that they're going to stick to something for a long fucking time. And like 99% of any cool shit that anybody does ever usually takes a lot of preparation and practice and just repetitive action to get good at.
I don't know what to do, so what should I do? Well, nothing. I'll wait around until I figure out what to do. It's like, no, You should put together a bad plan and you should implement it, because even if you fail in the implementation, you'll gather information. Yes. And then you can rectify the plan. Staying in that malaise until you know what to do makes you get older and more miserable, and you gather no information along the way. A bad plan is a good idea.
Yes, it's going to take years. Yes, it's going to be really hard. But what the were you planning on doing instead? Because here's the thing, you already know it's going to take years. You already know it's going to be hard, uncomfortable, and slow. That's not the problem. The problem is that deep down, part of you is still hoping there's a shortcut. But there isn't. There is just the work, the repetition, the silence, the part where no one claps and nothing happens for a while. And the truth is, most people can't handle that part. So they quit, or they stall, or they start over again and again, just to avoid sitting in it. The time is going to pass either way. So what were you planning on doing instead? Scroll, tweak the plan for the 15th time, keep talking about your potential without actually doing anything with it? This is the trade. You either suffer now through the process or suffer later with regret. That's it. Those are your options. One hurts, the other haunts. So no, it won't be fast. And no, it won't be easy, but it will be worth it if you're willing to pay for it in advance.
All those failures, they were great for me to examine where I was f***ing up at along the way. Self-talk without real work is just a lie. If you didn't study for your big exam and you go into it saying, I'm gonna pass it, no, you're not. So my self-talk is me reminiscing back on the struggle to get to this moment. So basically you have to put yourself in the moment a million times.
Here's how to achieve anything you want in life: a clear vision, daily learning, daily building, persistence, and iteration. Those need to be the highest priority in your life. But most people don't know what they want because they haven't reflected on what they don't want for multiple years. And most people don't learn because true learning is very painful. It's not about memorization or grades. Most people don't build. They dabble. They try things over and over again only to get that small spurt of dopamine when they make initial progress, but when that flatlines, they quit. And last, most people don't improve when they fail. They get discouraged and lose the internal mental battle between their lower self and their higher self. Don't be most people.
Do you run away from something? Do you run towards something? Failure is a compelling protagonist towards achieving your goals. So use failure. Be scared, be very scared of failure, and you will succeed. The most successful minds in the world, they are profoundly scared of going bust, and they work double hard. There is no magic pill. The only way you do that is through sheer grit and determination.
If there's one message I want you to walk away with today, it's this. Your purpose does not have to be your job. Your purpose does not have to be big. Your purpose does not have to make you money. Your purpose does not have to make you famous. Your purpose can be something you do on the weekends. Your purpose can be something you do in the evenings. Your purpose is something no one can take away from you. So find something you care about. Find something that breaks your heart open a little, and then get involved. You don't need $1 million. You don't need a title. Use your passion in the service of others, and it will become your purpose.
The most important conversation you'll ever have is the one you have with yourself. You wake up with it, you walk around with it, eventually you'll act on it.
You can't do nothing. Sitting around and thinking about what you want to do is not going to get anything done. Despite the fact you don't have this big mission that you want to pursue, that doesn't mean there's not things that you need to get good at. We need to be preparing for when that opportunity arises. We need to be preparing and positioning ourselves for when the mission shows up. You don't get to choose when that inspiration shows up, when that idea shows up, when that problem that inspires you to create a solution shows up. You don't get to choose any of that. But what you can choose is how prepared you are and the skill set that you have to be able to climb that mountain.
Life is continued work. It's constant learning. I don't even, we should constantly be working. Maybe not physically working, but we could be spiritually, emotionally, working toward bettering ourselves and bettering the lives of others around us. So I get really afraid of those little comfort, those things that make us feel like, we did something great. Because I've done nothing. I've done nothing.
Me and other me holding the whip behind me to see how much I can take. But with each lash of the whip that I take, learning that I can take it, as long as you keep going, you bear witness to yourself of what you are capable of. And I find that incredibly satisfying in the trenches of misery when you have to go through it.
But everything is your fault. Everything is your fault comes back to like you are the CEO of your life. If a business succeeds, whose fault is it? The person who orchestrated, I was like, the CEO. He said, if a business fails, whose fault is it? And I said, the CEO. He said, Rob, if you get to the end of your life and it's not what you wanted it to be, and you didn't create the life that you wanted to, make the money that you wanted to, have the success, the love, the happiness, travel to places that you wanted to, whose fault would it be? And I said, it'd be my fault. And he said, if you did create the life that you wanted to, you had the love, the happiness, the abundance, everything that you wanted, whose fault would that be? And I said, it'd be my fault. And he said, the problem with you is you're treating this life as if you're the victim. And what you need to realize is that everything that happens to you is your fault, and that your life won't change until you decide that you want to be the CEO of your life.